Good afternoon. It's Chris again. Some more Devore Dad thoughts. And I may have covered this already once, but when it comes to our pets and our children and our spouses and our general happiness that is created by our pets, I mean, don't get me wrong, I know that not everybody is a pet lover or fanatic, pet lover, but we're out there. And I've always loved pets, but it seems as if I've become more of a fanatic in my older age. My wife is a contributing factor to that. She is a major reason for that. But anyways, we love our dogs. And where I'm going with this is you have to do right by your dog, and you have to do right by, or your cat. Let's not, rule anybody out here. Cats, dogs, fish, birds, snakes, rats, whatever. Whatever your pet is, you got to do right by them. But you also have to do right by you and your family. That's emotionally, financially. You have to do what's acceptable in your income. It's a horrible thing. Your pet gets hurt, and the level of care that your pet gets is based on the amount of income that you can dispose of. Sometimes you got to figure out where the line is. At what point will you stop? How much will you sacrifice to save a pet? At what point is that sacrifice causing a hardship for your family? Listening to your family, especially small children, cry over a pet is a horrible thing. But not being able to feed that child because you spent too much money trying to save a pet, that's even worse. And that's you got to figure out what the level of comfort is for you. We had an incident about 2 years ago now. Our husky, Mia, well, it was time, but we didn't want to believe that. All of her vitals, everything looked like it was great, and there was no reason for her not to be getting healthy. All in all, we spent probably $6,000 to $7,000 between the two of us. I'm still paying that off, and that was my choice. We have care credit for the dogs, just for certain types of procedures and surgeries, but that was our choice. I'm gonna make more money. I have a career that allows me to make the money to pay these bills off. It's still a bill, unnecessary bill. She was there. Now my justification is I have put a dog down, not physically put the dog down, I had somebody else do it, a vet that might have survived with 3 legs, but I didn't know. There was the unknown. The surgery cost was going to be quite a bit. I didn't have the money, and I justified by the amount of money what I was going to have done. And I had that dog put down. I had a dog that I loved forever that she was 12 years old, stomach turned. The vet said, we can operate, but odds are she might recover in pain, and it's a very low possibility of her recovering fully. And so I made the choice to put her down. Well, when it came to Mia, having that doubt of what if both dogs that I had put down or had put down when I was younger and didn't have a stable career, what if they'd have been all right and I'd have got many more years of love and companionship from those animals. That what if was my driving factor when it came to Mia. And the whole family loved Mia, everyone. My grandbaby who's now 4, still talks about Mia. Almost every time she's at the house, she misses Mia. And it's tough. We all do. We all miss her. So, if we knew what we know now, was it worth it? No. But overall, yeah, it was worth it. Whatever you got to do to try and save this dog. Do the test, whatever procedures, whatever medicine we can try, let's do it. That being said, the vet that we were going to was a specialist, very expensive, very honest and just an incredible guy, because he legitimately is saying, look, this is what I can do. It's not cheap. You have to keep that in mind. You have to figure out, where her quality is. And he's very honest, very straightforward, was concerned with our happiness and our abilities. He didn't want us to go into debt. He also didn't want the dog to suffer. Just a good dude. I mean, a lot of people would just take your money and that's that. And that wasn't his case at all. In the end, I think we did the right thing by us. There wasn't a whole lot that, was gonna, give her 4 or 5 more years. She was right at 12. She was supposed to live till 15. I think that the chewable flea meds caused seizures, and the seizures took a few years off of her life. We did what was right for our family by trying to save her. And in the end, we did what was right by her by letting her go. We didn't make her suffer forever and ever, but we did try to help her. But when it was clear that she was tired, we didn't let her suffer. And that's where our family went with it. And, we did what was right by our family. And, I still have that bill. And that's fine. It's getting smaller each day. And like I said, I have a career, I'll pay it off. But that's not you. That's not your situation. That's not your mentality. Especially young parents. I know we want to save all of our animals. We want our children to be happy because that's our child's animal. Sometimes you got to make the hard decision. And I'm not saying be callous about it. I am saying you got to make the hard decision and do what's right by your family. If that means you have the funds and you're going to save that animal at whatever it costs, I applaud you. That is, I'm a pet lover. I'm all for that. If that's the case, do it. But if it comes down to your family living comfortably and eating on a regular basis, or that pet, no, the pet's got to go. That's just my opinion. You're going to do what you need to do. I'm a firm believer that everything works out. One way or the other, it works out. There will be struggles, but it will work out. But if I can save you any kind of growing pain right now, know that you're not alone, that when it comes to things like these, you will have to make those decisions, and you got to examine all sides of it. Now, if you're doing it for convenience because the dog's getting sicker and I got to spend more time taking care of the dog or the cat, whatever the case is, well, you're an asshole. Okay, that's not it. If the animal is living a poor quality of life, then you make the judgment call. You don't let the dog or the cat suffer, or whatever the animal is. You don't let them suffer. It's very rare that humans or animals go peacefully in their sleep. It's a rare thing, especially dogs. Dogs rarely go peacefully in their sleep. Most animals, especially in the U.S., are put to sleep, because nobody wants to see them suffer. And they're parts of the family usually. So just dragging on here. But if you have it and it's your family pet, it's part of your family, by all means, do whatever you think is comfortable and what's right. But on the other hand, if it's going to put a hardship on the family, you're not a bad person. You are doing what's right by the family by not putting more money out there that you don't have, creating bills that you can't pay. You know, you're not a bad person for putting your family first. You know, the grief might be hard on you, but the guilt and the grief combined when you can't pay the electric bill because you saved an animal, whew, that's doubled. And pretty soon, not only are you feeling guilty and you're sad over that animal that didn't make it anyways, you're now in the dark and you're cold, or you're hot because it's summertime, like here, 87 degrees outside right now. Yeah, that's why the AC was on. I don't know if anybody can hear me in this video, but those are my thoughts. As a dad, I have more than once tried to help an animal out for the sake of my children. I've had a somewhat grown child call me up and needing help trying to save an animal that was attacked by another animal. And I did. I showed up, and at the time I didn't have the career I do now, and I helped how I could. You know, I paid half the bill. I couldn't pay the whole bill. I didn't have money like that. And I also wanted it to be a learning lesson. They need to pay the other half, him and his girlfriend. And they did. They did their part. I did my part. The animal got better, but their relationship didn't. So I helped him in the moment, momentarily. I don't know if the girlfriend still has the dog or not. Who knows? However, I did my part because my child called and asked, I need help. Can you help me? Of course I can help you. How am I going to help you? Is it going to be financial? Is it going to be guidance? I gave a little bit of both that night. I couldn't do 100% financial, but I did some financial. I did some guidance and gave my 2 cents on how much you could spend on, you know, an animal. How much you can't spend on an animal. Don't go into a debt that you'll never be able to crawl out of. No matter how much you love that animal, you got to do what's right by you, and you got to do what's right by your family. I am 100% for doing right by your animals because they are part of your family. But there's a line, there's a limit. I had no line or limit with Mia because I had drawn that line with 2 other pets and left a question in the back of my head of what if. Not so much with Abby. Abby was my old English sheepdog, and she was older. It was just a hard decision, and it was a very slim chance. The other dog, she was just a really neat dog that belonged to my daughter. She was my dog, pretty much, because she lived at my house, and my daughter lived at her mother's house. But Roxy was a little tough decision, not because I was so attached to her, but because of the fact there was a chance that she could have lived a happy life as a 3-legged dog. But as the vet said, we won't know. We won't know until the leg's amputated and hope that there's no internal injuries. Unless you have $5,000, then we get a surgeon in here, and I didn't have $5,000. Paycheck to paycheck, barely getting by. I made the decision that I did, but I always had that what if. What if I had paid the $500 and had the dog's leg removed and she lived perfectly fine? You know, so having that little bit in the back of my head and knowing that I have a career that I can pay that bill, you know, I didn't hold back when it came to Mia. Knowing that it was my wife's very first dog on her own and how much she loved that dog, I didn't hold back. Whatever it takes, let's do it. And we did, and we tried, and there was no rebound. The vet called to check in to see how she was doing, if there was any improvement. Why weren't steroids helping? Why weren't, everything? And it kind of felt like it was a team effort. We all tried, And the vet did his part right in the very beginning, explained to me everything that we needed to know and consider before we went forward with any procedure. And then he kept in touch. We still see him for our other dog, and he still asks how everybody's adapting, how the new dog's adapting, all of that good stuff. So, not everyone's out there to gouge you. It's rare that you find such a good doctor to go to, but we did, and it's comforting even though we lost our animal in the long run. So now I'm just going way off topic, but again, when it comes to animals, or I guess anything in life, but mainly today's topic is animals. When it comes to animals and their well-being, put your family first, put yourself first, and then them. That's all. It's a tough conversation. It's a tough topic, but hug your kids, and hopefully your animals live long, happy lives. All right, that's all I got.